name is Evolution, and I am deciding to start to vlog. I think that it's kind of important, and I think that it is a calling that God has on my spirit to just start journaling my thoughts and everything and what's going on within my spirit and what I see and what God gives to me. And I just thought that it was important for me to just start vlogging it. Before I get started, I think that I want to kind of like let you guys know who I am, what I'm all about, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So, like I said, my name is Evolution. I am a woman of God. I absolutely love God. Am I perfect? No. So that is one of the reasons why I find it vitally important and I feel a pull to call my vlogs from the mind of an imperfect sheep, because that's exactly what I am. I am a follower of God. I believe in Him wholeheartedly because there is no other to believe in, because He is the beginning and end, and He's everything in my life. But I'm not perfect, hence the imperfect part. I try to strive to be more God-like every day. Anyway, so I have 4 children. Yes, I said 4. 4 beautiful children, 4 amazing children. I'm not quite sure. I don't think that I'm going to have them. Excuse me. I don't think that I'm going to have them on my vlogs. Oh, goodness gracious. This hair is just doing what it wants to this morning. Ah! Anyway, I don't think I'm going to have them on the vlogs simply because, or at least my youngest ones. I don't think I'm going to have them on the vlogs just because safety reasons. So if you hear them in the background, that's what it is. So yeah, I have 4 children, 3 boys, 1 girl. God finally blessed me with my little girl, and I absolutely adore her. And I've always loved boys, so it's like right up my alley. I have an amazing husband that, yes, gets on my nerves sometimes, but he's my rock when I need grounding. And he's just the love of my life. Do we have our little problems and our little things? Of course, but you name one relationship that doesn't, and I'll tell you that you're lying. So, but we're best friends. And so you hear one of them in the background now. See, he's trying to invade the camera, and I'm trying to tell him no. And I'm pretty sure any minute now my daughter is going to want to try to come in, and she loves the camera. So I may have to edit this and block her out. But anyway, so I just wanted to kind of like talk about, well, the title for me. I kind of wanted to touch on. Well, let me just explain this. Me and my husband, I have been noticing for a while. Just, have you ever been in a circumstance where you start waking up and you just kind of feel angry, or you wake up and you just feel irritated, and you really can't pinpoint why you feel irritated, but you know that you feel irritated, and sometimes just the sound of their voice will just irk all bejeez of you, Me and my husband, well, my family, we're kind of in the middle of a transition phase of our lives. We lost our home, and we're currently displaced. Blessed be the God, we still have a roof over our head, but we're currently displaced, and we're in the process of looking or trying to acquire another home. And homes are not cheap, so we're running into a little bit of difficulty, and it's taking a little bit longer than what we had hoped. So as a result, me and babies are in one place, and then my husband is in another place, due to space and availability. So needless to say, that's going to put a strain. Something like that will put strain on any relationship and everything. And I miss my husband. I miss being able to, he go to work, and when he comes home, I miss being able to, have a hot meal to serve him, and cuddling up with him, and us all, me and the kids and him, watching the Warriors, play, and just the little things, the walks, the just everything, and of course we still spend time with each other, and he comes and sees me basically every night when he gets off of work. He's where I am, but it's not the same as at the end of a long, long day of me dealing with the kids and managing life, and him doing all the things that he has to do. It's nothing like at the end of a stressful day coming home and crawling into bed with one another and holding each other and kind of like washing away the day. So that put strain on us, and that festered resentment for me, I could say, and it festered insecurities for him. But it was more so for me because, I'm like, I just want it to be over. I just want us to be together. And it's a whole lot of backstory to that frankly, I'm just not going to get into, But anyway, I had noticed that I had started to really just like feel some resentment towards my husband, and it was coming out. And even though I wasn't like saying things to him and I wasn't going off on him or anything. Okay, but we'll go in the back room until mommy gets finished. Go in the back room and go watch TV until mommy gets finished. I'm almost done, okay? All right, love you. Okay, so anyway, back to what I'm saying. Started to feel a lot of resentment and everything, but I wasn't communicating that with him, and he could pick up on what was going on with me because I'm his wife, and he knows his wife. So I did not know how to communicate my feelings towards him in regards to how I was feeling, because I'm like, okay, I just want to focus on positivity and moving forward and being better and being stronger. I don't want to revisit the things that are points of tension. I don't want to revisit that, because how does that prosper anything? Me bottling that in, and him bottling in his feelings because he knew that something that I wasn't feeling right, and I wasn't talking to him, which was making him resentful because I wasn't talking. I didn't want to argue with my husband. I didn't want to argue with him. I didn't want any discord. I just wanted to be close to him. And so those feelings just kept getting bottled and bottled and bottled and stuffed and stuffed and stuffed. And we as women, we tend to do that, is that we're so busy putting out everybody else's fires, putting out everybody else's concerns and helping, the children, and trying to be everything that we need to be for our husbands, and trying to be what we need to be for our family, and hold down the fort and make sure that all the other fires that are around us are being put out, that we forget to put out our own. Meanwhile, as a result, I was not paying attention to the fire that was burning inside of me, the discontent that was burning inside of me, and the embers were just sitting in my spirit. They were just sitting there, and they weren't going anywhere, and meanwhile, the flames everywhere else was being put out. I was doing it, trying to make sure everybody else was okay. But my flame was getting more intense because I wasn't addressing the embers that had been sitting in my spirit. Do you see what I'm saying? So as a result of that, eventually those embers were able to catch a little bit more inside of me, and they turned into a full-blown blaze. Do you hear what I'm saying? And that blaze became an explosion. It's like, and my husband, we were sitting, we were talking, and we started out happy, and it was a trigger word that was said that in any other circumstance, if I had talked to my husband about what was, inside of me, and what I was feeling from the gate, those embers never would have became a flame. That flame would have never became a fire. That fire never would have became an explosion. But because I called myself trying to protect and keep everything intact, and happy-go-lucky with us, and not addressing my problems, though that flame became an explosion and I exploded. He said one specific thing, it was a trigger for me, and my mouth, I just went, I let it all out. And he's looking at, because I've been smothering the flame, but the embers didn't go anywhere. So I've been smothering the flame so long. He's looking at me as I'm exploding and saying, where the heck is this coming from? I thought everything was good. Why are you so angry at me? I don't understand where this is coming from. I know, things could have been handled differently, but why are you so angry? I don't understand this. We've been in this circumstance for quite a while now, and I haven't seen any of this anger. I would have thought that I would have seen this anger at the initial point of when our transition first began, but now, it's been months, and where is this coming from all of a sudden and everything? And it was because I didn't address what was going on inside of me. And, finally, although the explosion could have been handled, the explosion, because, allowing it to get to the point of explosion, it could go one of two ways. One, depending on the person who you let that explosion go out on, if they have a spiritual eye, they can, address it in a different capacity. But in most points, you explode on somebody, what you gonna get back? One explosion meets another explosion, and next thing you know, relationships are damaged, hurt feelings are in place, things are said that can't be taken back, regret comes into place, regret sits in your system, and then there's a whole nother problem, and it's just a domino effect. It's a domino effect for no reason. And instead of me, not only should I have talked to my husband and just said, you know what, honey, I'm feeling away, about what's going on or what has transpired. And I really wish that things would have been handled differently so that our circumstances would not have been what they are now. Instead of me just saying that, and I mean, he may have got, we may have had some words, but it would have just been a discussion. Instead of, I should have did that, but first and before and all other things and stuff, I was so busy, like I said, taking care of everybody else and stuff, I forgot to pray for me. I forgot to pray for what was inside of me and ask God to help me to process through the feelings that I was having and everything. And instead of leaning on God, which God is the calming waters, instead of looking for God to help me, I held it in, which allowed, I gave the enemy an entrance. So instead of me leaning on God and allowing God to say, you know what, you're in this circumstance, but I'm holding you. Instead of me allowing God to say, hey, or allowing God to give me calm and spirit, because in truth, even though we are not in our home, we could have been on the street, literally. Instead of still having a vehicle, we could have, because money is tight and everything. Instead of that, we could have lost our vehicle. We could have been homeless, literally homeless, which could have been a domino effect with our children. It could have been so much worse. And instead of letting that be in remembrance for me, I was letting that anger fester, which allowed, the enemy, as I'm looking at my husband, I started looking at him with, that side eye, that eye of like, that eye of disgust, like, and I'm hearing in my mind, well, he doesn't love you, because if he loved you, he would have made sure that this was taken care of, and he's selfish, and and all these horrible things. And that was not of God. That was not of God. And why are you still here with him? And blah, 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 and everything like that. And that's not God. That's not God. That's not God. And I had to, it wasn't until I started to really remember God. And it sounds so horrible even saying that, but remember that God is my refuge. God is the healer. God is You know, he is my refuge. He is my consoler. He is my everything. He is, you know, he instead of, when I finally started to remember that God is, you know, the waters of rejuvenation. God is the water that puts out the flame. God is my rescuer. And once I started remembering that, and not only remembering that, but remembering the authority that God gave to me, and remembering that Satan has no place in this marriage. Satan has no place in our family. Satan has no place in our home. Satan has no place, and he has no authority over me or my family or my husband or our circumstances. But God is the one who has all the authority over everything that is happening. And although what was going on with us and what is continuing to go on with us is hard, you also have to stop and think that, you know, nothing is outside of God's allowance. Nothing is going to happen that God doesn't allow. And that doesn't mean that God, you know, saying, oh yeah, it's God's fault, God is trying to hurt me. Some things that God does is simply to push you forward to the next level. Some things that God allows to happen, or that God gives permission to Satan to do, is just because he has so much faith in who you are and in your connection and your faith and your love for him, that he's like, yeah, go ahead and test my child, but watch you fail. Watch that at the end of all of this, when I say that it's enough and I put my hand on it and I say it's done, watch that they are still loving me. Watch that they are still faithful to me. Watch that in the midst of you trying to throw all these storms at them, they're still going to praise my name. They're still going to love on me. You have no authority over them, Satan, because they're my children. Sometimes we need to be tested just to show Satan that the battle is already lost. He's already lost. He's already lost. You know, and it's like, sometimes you say, why would you want to fight a battle that you know that you're not going to win? But that's the cockiness that he has. But you know what? Anything that Satan tries to throw at us, I feel so glad, and I'm so thankful to God for allowing me to remember who he is and what he has blessed us with, because now I feel so empowered. I feel so empowered. I feel more connected to my husband than I've ever felt. The love that has always been there that I've had for my husband, but it's almost like I look at it with new. I look at it and I'm just so thankful to him. And as a result, my husband and I, we get up every morning. He prays for about an hour before he starts getting ready for work. I pray over our children, our family, and everything. He prays over the same. You know, we are a team now. We are a team, and I know Satan is angry. I know Satan is angry because before we weren't working as a team. Before, I was so busy being upset with him. He was upset with me because I was upset with him, and it was division. And that is what Satan was. He was rejoicing at that point, because he's like, yeah, God, you thought that they were so connected. You thought that, you know, because the thing that really drew me and my husband together, and what attracted me to him and what attracted him to me, was our spiritual foundation and how connected and how devoted we were, or, you know, we were to God and everything. And before, I'll tell you, when me and him first started talking, or when he first came at me, we had met on a dating profile. And on the dating profile, he had said, you know, it seemed, it came across to me as though he just kind of wanted you know, something light. And I was saying, I'm not looking to get married tomorrow. I didn't say this on my thing because I wasn't putting my business out there. You know, I was like, oh no, I'm not going to sit up there and put all my information online so you can look at it and tell me what I want to hear. I want to know the truth, and then I'll gauge it from there. So I didn't put any of my wants or anything on there and stuff. But when he came at me, I kind of like pushed him off. I really wasn't. I was like, no, I ain't wasting my time with somebody that ain't trying to do nothing, you know. As far as like growing in love and growing in a relationship and everything, I'm not even wasting my time with that. So I had pushed him off, and then I went, you know, he kept persisting, and I looked at this page, and he had on there the Bible passage, as for me and mine, we will serve, my home will serve the Lord. And that really took me aback, because you don't really see that. And it kind of made me take a second look at him. And so, like I said, our love grew from the roots of God. He was our foundation. And with that is our foundation. You can't go wrong. So it's like, but you have to remember him. Remember him in all things, and at all times remember him. And we had got so busy in our lives that we forgot, hey, he's number one. We forgot that, okay, this is going on, but remember me, remember me, remember me, and everything. We remembered everything else, but we were forgetting that, oh, okay, when this bill is due and we don't know how it's going to get paid, to lean on him and remember that God will supply. We forgot to, when our bodies were hurting and everything and we were stressed and everything, instead of looking to God and saying, okay, Lord, help me with this and everything and stuff, we started, getting resentful and everything. So, this, I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer because the baby is trying to come and mess with mommy. I just really wanted to just tap in with you guys and let you know that when the embers are burning inside of you and everything, don't let Satan have, or give Satan place. Ask God to step in and let God be your waters, and let him come in and burn and release those embers and squash those embers and put those fires out before they become explosions and everything. And remember God in all things, and it'll be okay. Like I said, things won't be perfect, but things won't be perfect, but God will supply your needs. God will supply your needs. God and restore. So, like I said, you guys, don't let Satan's embers fester. Let God's waters put those fires out for you. So I hope that this blessed you guys. I will try my hardest, as you can tell. My babies is right there. Lord, please, I'm asking you guys, in love, pray for me, pray for my family, as I will be praying for you all. If you like this and if you want more, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to try to start to post more regularly, because I believe that there's words that God has for me to release, and I want it, and if it will bring anybody closer to God and allow people to know him more, the joy that I will feel is immeasurable. So, and hopefully as I continue to do this, I'll become more comfortable with it, and God will give me, will help me to become a little bit more structured in my delivery of the thoughts that he gives me, and the revelations that he gives me. So until I see you guys next time, continue to evolve in God and grow in God and in love. And I will talk to you guys soon. Until then, bye.